I finally attempted to make an Alani can koozie, and it was not as hard as I expected it to be and turned out so cute. Here are the measurements. You're gonna cut 2 outer fabrics, 2 lining fabrics, and 2 batting fabrics. I used Insulbright, which is just used to help keep your drink cooled longer. You're gonna layer them up into a sandwich with your batting, your main fabrics facing each other, and then batting on top. Sew a 1/4 inch seam along each edge, leaving the top open and the cutouts open. Be sure to keep your seams at 1/4 inch because this did turn out very snug. Here's how it looks. We're gonna do the same thing with our lining, except on this one, we're gonna leave a 2-inch opening on this side. I'm always back stitching at the start and stop and at the opening. Here's how that looks. You can see I've got my opening right there. We're gonna use that to turn it right side out later on. Next, we need to box all of our corners. You just pinch those squares that you cut out open, match up your seams, and put a little clip there. We are going to do the same thing to the lining and to the main fabric with the batting on it. Sew those down at 1/4 inch seam. It can feel a little bulky in your sewing machine, especially on the one with the batting, but just go slow and it'll be fine. Here's how those look all boxed out. Turn your main fabric right side out and stick it inside of your lining. So you should be looking at the bad side of your lining. The pretty sides are facing each other inside. Match up your seams and just put a pin in there. I'm going to put a few pins and we are going to stitch around this opening. This is where it gets a little finicky because you are working in a small space, but just go really slow and pull the fabric around the circle as you go. But I promise if you just go slow, it'll be fine. Now is where we're going to right side our project through that opening, pull it out, and then poke out all of the corners, especially on that main piece of fabric where the batting is. We've got an opening on the lining we need to sew shut. I just tuck those in and sew an edge stitch. Trim your threads and then shove the liner inside of your koozie. Okay, we are almost done. The last thing we need to do is a top stitch around the top. I took it to my iron and pressed it just so that everything would stay in place nicely. I changed my thread to a pretty purple that matched my koozie, and I increased my stitch length to 3.5, and again, just go nice and slow, making sure you're only sewing through on one side. I just love this quilt pattern on my fabric. It is so cute, and moment of truth, it fits, but barely. So again, watch those seams, or next time I might cut mine a little bigger.